Our first speaker tonight is Kat Brady with the Community Alliance on Prisons. I think many of you know her.
Aloha. Can you see me? I hate podiums because it always is like the Wizard of Oz. You hear this voice, but nobody can see me. I was glad that Carolyn framed mass incarceration as an epidemic, because it is. It's an epidemic. We're addicted to mass incarceration. We're addicted to locking people up. And what if with this epidemic, we started treating it in a public health way? Wouldn't we realize then that the system is full of people, human beings that have families, that come from communities? We would treat them differently. But when we create a system where people have numbers and we make them anonymous, we don't have to care about them because that's those people. But you know, incarceration in Hawaii, it's very hard to find somebody who hasn't been touched in some way by incarceration. Their families, their loved ones, their neighbors. It is epidemic. And we keep forgetting that they're people. And once we start forgetting that, we forget that people can change, that things can change. And what's happening right now is we have a system that's going fast down this road. Crime is at the lowest rate it's been since 1975, which is the date we started recording. It's an all-time low in just about every category. And yet our prison population has remained pretty stable at 6,000. Now, how could that be? The highest population we've ever had is 6,045 people when the Lingle administration was in office. So now they're talking about spending $1 billion and rebuilding prisons and jails. I will say that our prisons and jails are in third world shape. People are living in inhumane conditions. And there's this big move, Governor Abercrombie, to bring people back. And one of the problems is, what do you bring them back to? So the first thing that we suggest is, yes, we need to refurbish some of our facilities, but before we do that, we need to figure out who actually should be in there. And what's happening is, once this plan is going down the road, and it's going down the road now really fast, there's all these moves to justify. So now there's no prison visits. We know that, connecting people, maintaining connections is really important to help people reintegrate when they're done their prison term. We put Halava inmates in stripes. I mean, people haven't been in striped uniforms since, the early 1900s. And the reason that people actually got out of stripes was during the Depression. A lot of people were in prison, and the community said, hey, these aren't criminals, they're poor people. What are we making them look like criminals for? So Hawaii, that is saying, oh, we want to, focus on reentry, we can't help reminding people, you're a criminal, don't forget that. We're putting you in stripes so that you never forget that. So that's another way that they justify. We also have non-contact visits in Halava. So a little kid is going to come and visit daddy. Daddy's in stripes. He can't even touch daddy because now there's a screen between them. I have a friend that I work with on restorative justice stuff, and she's been to prisons all around the world. She was in Spain with the head of the whole prison system, and she's talking to him at this prison that was built in like 1600, and she sees all these men in the yard, and she said, where are the people who are incarcerated? And he said, there. And she said, oh, they're in street clothes. And he said, well, yeah, they're human beings. And then a lady walks in, and all these men in the yard went up and hugged her, and she said, who's that? And, oh, that's the caseworker. And she said, they hugged her. And He said, well, yes, they're human beings, and touch is part of being human. Aren't you from Hawaii? And she said, yes. You put people in uniforms? You don't allow them to hug their families? Well, they can hug for 30 seconds. He said, I can't believe that. So these are other strategies they're using to separate people and to justify, because we know that the longer you keep people incarcerated, the higher their criminality will go, and that will justify their need for 6,000 beds. So we've been fighting Community Alliance on Prisons. We've been around for 15 years. I'm kind of a nerdy research person, and I love research and numbers, and I keep crunching numbers, and it's unbelievable that we have this incredibly large prison population that is mostly, this is how it breaks down, 25% of our incarcerated population, that's prisons and jails, 25% property crime. Drug crimes are the lead, and these crimes are, people are in for multiple crimes because we have a prosecutor that prosecutes by, lining up 6 or 8 charges, throw them against the wall, see what sticks. So we have some people who, have 15 convictions for 2 arrests. And they just keep stacking this stuff up. And I'm on all these national committees, and I was speaking with a prosecutor from somewhere else, and I talked about a case, and I said, what would you do? And she said, well, that's actually one charge, because it's all stemming from that one thing. And I said, well, this woman just got 8 convictions. She was stunned. But that's what we do to actually show the community these people are dangerous. They need to be separated from us. And you know what? Most of our people are not dangerous. And I've spoken to ACOs, adult correctional officers, who've been in, working for like 25 years, saying, our guys are cream puffs compared to people on the continent. So we don't really have many dangerous people, and we don't need 6,000 beds, but we do need thousands of people to stand up and resist. Thank you.